Hill, co-creators of Wealth with No Regrets, sitting here with our friend and colleague in the business here, Cleve Hill, trust and estate attorney, to really answer some important questions and address some important topics. And one probably really dear to both of our hearts together, and we've seen with a number of clients that we worked on together, the importance of bringing financial planning and estate planning together and integrating the two, and how what we do and you do, Cleve, is so critical. Wouldn't you say? I mean, that is, and it gets missed so often, right?
It gets missed so often. And what I run into repeatedly is the two of you and other financial advisors that clients will have, they are usually the first relationship builder with the client. And you guys are making the introduction between myself and the client, and you know their character, their integrity, their family issues, their financial issues, and how that's going to impact the type of estate planning that we need to do. You're going to know the unique assets that perhaps they have. Do they own real estate in more than one state? Do they have stock options that have various restrictions on them due to contracts and their employment? You're able to bring that kind of knowledge to the table when we start having the implementation and the design session as we're putting this estate plan together. If you're going it alone, which we run into frequently, where people just kind of piecemeal this together, they're lacking that cohesiveness between the financial planning piece and the estate planning piece that in the end can really be costly. I can't tell you the number of times after there's been a death where a family will come to our office to seek help with administration of the estate. Perhaps the deceased family member has set up a living trust, and they come in with this beautiful 3-ring binder, set it down on my desk, and they say, we get to avoid probate, right? Well, my first question is, what did mom or dad or loved one move into the trust?
Mm-hmm.
Who was riding herd or playing quarterback on making sure their assets got moved into that trust? Typically, in a good scenario, it's the financial team,
right,
and the attorney helping that client get those assets moved in.
And they move them together. And I personally went through that in my own family situation, where there was a second home that was owned in my father's personal name that was never moved in the name of the trust and was never jointly owned. So it took us an extra 18 months to settle the estate, because we had to go through Florida probate nonetheless, which is out of state from where the residence was. And you say, oh, well, that's no big deal. It is, because it was very expensive, took a lot of time, which means it dragged down all the other financial assets during that period of time, which essentially nearly cut the estate in 3.5 years in half for my mom when my father passed. And then the other side of it too, that's super important, that's helpful on the side. I mean, Scott being a CPA, bringing the tax equation then also, not just the financial, but then the tax equation to the estate planning, right, Scott, is super important, because there's a lot of tax advantages to putting in the estate, the financial, and the legal together, right? I mean, huge.
Absolutely, and I think that tax is the linchpin between the estate planning and the wealth planning. Right. And there's a lot of opportunity and danger in that linchpin. And if something's wrong from a legal standpoint, it can be more costly than even a financial mistake, perhaps, when you look at estate planning, because you could end up giving 40% away, or you can end up having to pay tax that you wouldn't have had to pay. So the integration of financial, legal, tax, along with all the other aspects of wealth planning that we do, it's important. But yeah, I mean, it takes the whole team to get it right.
So people have a hard time hearing that and going, yeah, but not for me, right? So here's a great way to know whether or not doing an integrated financial, tax, and estate planning is right for you. Get a review. Get a review of what you have, where you're at, and see what the dangers are, see what the opportunities are in what you're doing right now today, and if you don't change, what might happen, or if you did change, what might be the possibility, right? A simple review on the financial, the tax, and the legal could make all the difference in the world for them and their family, right?
Absolutely.
So you should do that first and foremost if you're not sure.